What's good, YouTube? Swiftly here, back with another NBA 2K25 video. And in today's video, I have another episode of Rare Builds for you guys. As you can see on your screen, today's episode, we are going to be creating a back to basket big. So with that being said, let's jump right into the video. Now, obviously, you have to make this build at the center position, otherwise you won't get the name back to basket big. I'm pretty sure that I've made a video already covering the other back to basket builds in the family, back to basket guard, back to basket wing, and then as well as the back to basket four, if I'm not mistaken. And if I haven't, then those builds will definitely be coming. But I'm pretty sure I already covered the rest of the back to basket builds already. But in today's edition, we are going to be doing the back to basket big, which you do have to make at the center position. Like I just said, if you make it at any other position, it's going to be called something else. For the height, the weight, and the wingspan, you could tweak this to your liking. But more often than not, you're going to have to go taller than shorter. Just because when you go up in height, you're going to increase like your post control, you're going to increase your standing dunk, you're going to increase your rebounding, and your close shot and all of that stuff. And that's really what the back to basket builds are high in. It's high in post control, it's high in standing dunk, and it's high in close shot. If you're making a back to basket guard or wing, you can go a little bit lower on the height, but when you're trying to make a back to basket big, you do have to go a little bit up in the height. Me personally, I went 7 foot on the height, I went down to 252 on the weight, and then I left the wingspan at default. But do keep in mind that you can play with the height when you play with the wingspan or the weight. Depending on what height you go with, all of these things correlate to each other. So if you go super high in height, as far as like 7'3" height, then you can choose to go a little bit lower in the weight, because you're still going to have like the 99, 95-ish area for like standing dunk and post control and all of that stuff. Same thing with the wingspan. If you go a little bit higher in height, you can choose to go a little bit lower in the wingspan or higher in the wingspan, depending, just because of like the strength and all of that stuff that you're going to get, which is going to obviously pair well with high post control, standing dunk, and close shot, because that's going to help you with getting closer to the basket. So for my version, I went 7 foot, 252 with a 7-foot wingspan. Just take that into mind if you are going to tweak your build or change it in any way. And then for the attributes, this is what I went with. I went with a 95 on the close shot. I went with a 53 on the driving layup, because that's just what we put up with. I think when we put our driving dunk up, is just going to magically put that up to a 53. So there's nothing we could do about that driving layup, because we are going with a 73 driving dunk. We're going with a 95 standing dunk, and then we're also going to go with a 96 on the post control, like that. So you see, we're going to obviously be high post, high inside, because this is a back to basket build, a traditional type of center. I will explain all of this later, what we're going to be doing with this, but obviously you see just off rip what badges you're looking at. Hall of Fame post up poet, you're looking at gold unpluckable with just your post control alone. Hall of Fame hook shot specialist, or whatever it's called, hook specialist, excuse me. You're going to have rise up, you're going to have bronze posterizer as well, which is why we went with the 73 driving dunk instead of just a 70 or a 65. And you're going to have some pretty good dunk packages as well to go with that 73 driving dunk. 53 layup, because that just came up with our driving dunk, but that 53 will kick in a little bit when you're going up and your dunk pulled out of those dunks. That 53 layup will kick in, so make sure you do put your layup up. Even though it's only a 53, it definitely will help you, especially when sometimes somebody get a little contest on you. Trust me, I've played with the 25 driving layup. You want to put something on your layup just so that you don't miss like easy gimme layups that should go in. And then obviously that 95 close shot, we're looking at Paint Prodigy, Hall of Fame float game, and of course Hall of Fame hook specialist. And then just 1+1 on this build will get you Hall of Fame Paint Prodigy as well too. So that's going to play into what we're going to be doing later on with this build as well too. Moving on to the shooting, we're actually going to have a 73 on the midi. We're looking at a 28 3 ball, and then we're looking at a 73 on the free throw as well. So I always tell you guys, try to reach that threshold of 75 80. Now obviously we're not going to get that, but 70 plus free throw we can live with. Personally, I would try to get this higher if I could. If there was any place that I can skimp out on, I would, and I think the only thing that you could really skip out on and lower is your agility. If you lower anything else on this build, you will miss out on a badge. So, I pretty much min-maxed this build as much as I could to my liking and tailor it as best as I could. The agility, I think, is the only thing that you can really play with to remove, and you won't lose a badge. If you remove speed, strength, vertical, anything else, you're going to lose a badge or make the build way worse than what it is. So, just don't do that. If you have to put your free throw up, I would remove your agility some, maybe like 2-3 points, and then just throw that into your free throw just so that you can knock down. Because this build, yes, you'll be able to space the floor with it because you do have a little midi on this build, and I'm going to tell you later on what we're going to be doing with that mid-range. But if you care about knocking down your free throws at a high clip, remember this build goes up to a 92 free throw, so you can be very decent as far as free throw goes, where you're just knocking down. Usually I max out my free throw on my builds. I'm usually the one hitting those, shooting those technical free throws, which is going to help with, putting up your points per game and stuff like that as well as building towards your takeover if you do play fives. Moving on to the playmaking. This build doesn't have any playmaking besides pass accuracy. Obviously, we have the 51 ball handle because of our post control. But the pass accuracy, I know a lot of you guys like to have passing on your build, so I went with a 71 on the pass accuracy, which is going to get us bronze, break starter, and silver dimer. If you want to budget it a little bit more, you can go down to a 65 and just get bronze, break starter, and bronze dimer. But I know that each interval of 5 will, kind of increase your speed of your passes. So that breaking that 70 threshold means that you will have a little bit faster passing at 71 versus 65. So I went 71. And plus, going to the 71, you'll get that silver dimer, which also, is pretty nice to have on our build. So there we go with the playmaking, 71 pass accuracy, 51 ball handle, 26 speed with ball, because we aren't going to really be dribbling or anything like that. For the defense, I went with a 76 on the interior defense, and then I went with a 78 on the block. Now, I know for some of y'all this is kind of low, and I already explained in other videos, my threshold, attribute, sweet spot video, you want to be higher than an 80 on interior defense just because the way shot contests work in this game, but you can't go too high on interior defense or block because you will change the name of this build. You will go from a back-to-basket big to a interior scorer or a two-way interior scorer. I started out with an 82 interior defense, 84 block, and I had to lower this down until I was able to still get the name back-to-basket big. I believe that you can go 82, 84 on the block, but you would have to literally max out your post control, standing dunk, and close shot. You would have to max all of this out to like 99, I think, in order to go that high on your interior defense and block. And even then, you might still get that name just because of the thresholds. So, this is what I found worked for me. 76 interior, 78 block. You're still going to have some pretty decent defense. You're still going to have a bronze paint controller, which you can +1. You're still going to have a 78 block, so you're still going to have silver high flying denier as well too. So, this build isn't going to be too trash. And then, excuse me, not the build, but the defense is going to be too trash. And then you put a +1, on your paint controller, and you go up to a silver paint controller or even a +1 for gold high flying denier, just so that you'll be a little bit more bolstered in the paint as far as getting stops. With a build like this with lower interior defense and block, you are going to have to be really good on defense. You're going to have to know when to jump and when to play hands up, just based off the animation and positioning. If you have really good positioning and you know when to jump, when not to jump, you can still play really good defense. I have a 74 interior defense with a 84 block, I believe, on my very first center or my second center, and I have no problems. It's a little bit of a struggle sometimes, against bigger, taller builds, 7'2", 7'3s, but it's rare that I go up against 7'3s. On a regular 7', 7'1 build, I just have to know when to jump and when to play hands up defense. Moving on to the rebounding, we are going to have a 92 on the D board and nothing else. 92 is definitely suffice with a +1 for your rebound chaser going up to half. Adding a level of rebound chaser is like adding +5 to your rebounder. So you're really looking at, a 97, rebound, really. But you also have to consider that what their rebounding is and what their rebounding badges are looking like. But I think at a minimum, you don't want to dip below that 92 as far as rebounding goes. But the thing about rebounding is also about positioning. You're gonna have high strength, you're gonna have high vertical, and if you have good positioning, this isn't gonna matter too much. And then moving on to the physicals, we're looking at a 60 on the speed, we're looking at a 55 on the vertical. Excuse me, the agility. On the strength, we're looking at a 95 on the strength. And then finally for our vertical, we're looking at a 74 on the vertical, right? Now, I explained to you guys, what we're going to be doing, like, just the attributes alone and what we got: silver high flying denier, gold rebound tracer, box out B, silver pogo, Hall of Fame brick wall, all of that good stuff. Now, here's where the fun comes in, because this build is going to be much, much better when you take into the cap breakers that you're going to have. So off rip, we already have access, or I should say I already have access to 6 cap breakers. I have +5 from hitting starter 3, and I have the +1 from the season 2 pass. If you are a grinder, then you are for sure going to hit vet 2 at a minimum. So that's +5 from vet 2. So you're looking at 11 cap breakers, and then we already pretty much know that they're going to be putting the cap breaker in each season. So if you hit the cap breaker reward in the season pass for season 3 and 4, you're looking at a total of 13 cap breakers, +1 for season 3 and +1 for season 4. Now I know y'all going to say, oh, well, we don't know if they're going to do that. We know that they're going to put the cap breakers in the next seasons. And the only reason why I say they're going to do that, or we know that they're going to do that, is because they want to bridge the gap between high level rep grinders and just casual players. And they want money. Obviously the rep grinders are going to have the starter 3 and vet 2 cap breakers, and they're going to have the cap breakers from the season pass. The season pass cap breakers are kind of a way to bridge that gap with casual players to kind of make their builds a little bit better, to make it, a little fair. It's not too fair because those rep grinders are still going to have the cap breakers from the season pass too, but it does bridge the gap somewhat, kind of, sort of. So what we're going to be doing with this build is we're going to be putting +3 for our post control, right, which is going to give us a 99 post control, and then we're going to put +1 on strength for a 96 strength and a 99 post control, which will give us legend post up poet, legend powerhouse. And then we're also going to be putting +4 on our standing dunk, right? Which will give us legend rise up, because you see we got a 74 vertical, and then that +4 will give us 99 standing dunk, which means we'll have legend rise up as well with this badge, right? On this build, I should say. And then afterwards, all you need, is +5 again, which you will get in the following seasons, right? Because most of us is not hitting legend. I know for sure I'm not hitting legend. My goal is to hit vet 2, and I'm around 97% 2 starter 4. So if I keep grinding, I haven't been playing a lot lately, but I know if I hit, with the new season, if I hit starter 4 and then I grind it out, I'm for sure going to hit, vet 2 at least. I'm going to be using +5 with a mid-range on a build like this, and that's going to put you up to a 78 midi, which means you will then unlock silver set shot specialist as well too. And then that silver set shot specialist, you can +1 that, and that now becomes gold set shot specialist. So now you can really space the floor. You're going to be shooting deep too, so you're not going to really be spacing the floor at the 3, but you could sit at the deep 2 area, which I do with my first big that doesn't have any 3, just has mid-range. I have a 79 mid-range, I believe, with that build with the +5, and then I put a +1 on set shot specialist, making it gold, and I'm able to shoot and space the floor, keep the center somewhat out of the paint. He has to decide whether he's going to guard me at the mid-range or guard the paint. And once I start hitting shots, he can't sit paint, and that pretty much helps my team. Obviously, it would be better if I could space it at the 3, but 3 is very expensive. You wouldn't get anywhere close to a 73 or even a 78 if I drop the mid-range and put the 3 up, because the 3 is going to put your mid-range up and your 3, whereas mid-range is only going to put your mid-range up. So it's much more, easier or helpful for you to do it this way. So, that right there, you're just going to make this build that much better. You're going to have 99 post control, 99 standing dunk. If you choose to, you can put that +1 on close shot as well too. In later seasons, when you get that +1, and now you got Hall of Fame paint prodigy, you're gonna have legend rise up, you're gonna have legend post powerhouse, legend post up poet, you're gonna have +1 if you decide to put it on your set shot specialist, which will then be gold set shot specialist. And then you're also going to have like gold rebound chaser, etc., Hall of Fame brick wall. This build just becomes that much more of a problem. And then this is where I was saying that, you know, moving your agility down isn't going to take anything away. So if you decide, I want to go 50 agility instead, right? If you dropped it down to a 50 agility, now you have the, you know, the wherewithal to kind of make this build better. You can go higher on your mid-range so that you don't have to add +5 to it. You could only have to add +4 or +3. You can put your free throw up. You can put your pass accuracy up. There's multiple things that you can put up or change on this build without changing the name, if that's what you want to do. But of course, we'll leave it that way. Then of course, we'll see the shades of. We see Zubac, we see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and we see Clint Capella up there as well. And then of course, we'll see our build name, which is the Back to Basket Big. So there you have it. This is my Back to Basket Big for NBA 2K25. Please be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe for more NBA 2K25 content. And of course, more rare builds like this. I'm out, y'all. Peace.